Good day, everybody. Welcome to Home and Hearth Living. This is Kent, and I'm working in the kitchen. We've got a jam recipe today. I know that we mentioned that we were going to try and peach jam, but we ran out of time to actually get it videoed. So we went back to the farmer's market and picked up some strawberries and some blueberries, and we're going to make a mixed berry jam. So one of the first steps is to hull and slice your strawberries. So we've already done that. It took about 45 minutes to an hour to get all of this, all of the strawberries sliced up. The key here is that we're going to take this, we're going to put it, first we're going to mash it, and then we're going to put it into the crock pot here, and it's going to sit and stew for about 45 minutes to an hour on the highest setting that the crock pot will go to. So it's really quite an easy, simple recipe, and I think anybody can do this. You could downscale this. This is 8 cups and 8 cups. You could do 4 and 4 and do half the amount and half the amount of sugar. So in the notes over here, I believe, or over here, I'm not sure which side we'll put it on, but on one side or the other there will be the actual measurements so you can see. We're also going to put some additional chunks of strawberry in because Laura Lynn likes to have a little bit extra chunkiness to her strawberry jam. So this is also 8 cups of blueberries. So we've got equal portion, and then we've got 7 cups of sugar, or 8 cups of sugar, sorry. Okay, so I just need to get one thing. Except I can't, oh there it is. Potato masher. So the potato masher we're going to use to mash down both the blueberries and the strawberries. And what we're doing that for is to create the pulp mash that we're going to use to create the actual sauce here. So we're just going to mash it all up. The goal is to get it into a pulpy paste. Once this is all together and the sugar's in, the strawberries are going to let out a lot of their moisture, so it's going to become very much like a sticky paste is what it should come out consistency like. So as you can see right now, this is coming out really nice and lots of chunks still in it. So we may or may not add those extra pieces, we'll see. We did have some of the peach jam the other day. We had it with some chicken fingers, and the peach jam came out really, really nice. It's got a lot of flavor. For some reason, Laura Lynn put pineapples into it, but yeah, it still turned out good. You could do this with a processor. An immersion blender would work as well. We have both of those, but I chose to do it this way today. We do have more strawberries, so we may do another. We're thinking about doing a puree and do some drying. If you're interested in that, we can show you how that's done too. So that's pretty much good. Not seeing a whole lot of large chunks. The reason you do the slicing is so that the chunks can be processed much more easily. So you can see it's really just a fibrous paste right now. I'm sure it really tastes good too. So we can take that and into the pot it goes, and just watch for any big chunks as they're coming in. I think that looks pretty good. There we go. At this point, I'm going to take the sugar and I'm going to put the sugar in, or at least most of the sugar in. It's going to be tight as far as getting all of this mass in here, but we're going to try. The next step is to do the blueberries, and we're doing the same process. They just get pounded into a paste as well. Blueberries are a little bit tougher because of the skin. But you get there. So what is your favorite thing to can or to get out of a can? Put it in the show notes or in the notes below. Comments. Do you have a favorite canning recipe? I know we've done quite a few different recipes for canning, not just on the channel, but in the past. So maybe we'll share some of those recipes in the future. This will continue to break down as it's cooking. As you can see, it's pretty much into a paste. All of the berries are broken open. That's what we're going for. This is going to give it a really dark, rich, purple color to the whole jam. I'm going to turn on to the highest level on our So this pressure cooker actually has two settings. One's a slow cooker type setting, and the other is a just like putting it on a stove top type thing, where you can bake breads and things like that. So that's what the side I'm putting it on is the baked breads. Rather than have this going for heat and this going for making everything, it's just a whole lot easier right now to do this. It's about, I think it's about 36 degrees outside with the humidity. So as we all know, Canadians melt at 20 to 25, so we're really melting today. And that, as they say, is that. We're going to pour it in. Ooh, just enough space. Love it when a plan comes together. So the other thing that needs to go in here is 2 of these Certo packs for the amount we're cooking. So if you half the recipe, use one package. I'm going to mix one in at a time. I got my trusty wooden stir stick here. And we're going to start to mix in the sugar and the strawberries and blueberries all together and create a really nice, well mixed jam. So the goal is to get this to come up to a boil. Once it's at a boil, we'll let it sit and simmer over the next 40 minutes. That's when we'll start the timer. And we'll check on it constantly. In fact, what we'll do is we'll leave the overhead camera on so you can see it as it continues to meld together. This is all pretty well mixed together now, but it's going to come out really nice, I think. Here's part one. One of the things that's going to happen as we do this, we'll find that as it's cooking, you'll start to notice that on the top there'll be a foam that comes up, and you got to scrape all of that foam off as it's coming up or after a certain portion of time, and get that off so that it'll not mess with your jam and the curing process. And there we go. So this is ready to go now. We're just going to let this sit, and we'll come back from time to time and we'll stir it. But we'll be back. We'll be back when this is ready to go, and we'll get it into the cans and get it into the canner for the boil bath. You'll notice we're using the smaller boil bath this time because we're just doing smaller jars of this. We're going to do, this should do about six to 8 jars. We've got 6 prepared. If we have to do more, we'll do more. Yeah, that's good. Excellent. So we'll be back. You guys can watch this, or I'll be back. We're just going to let it sit and cook. So, excellent. See you soon. So as you can see, everything's come to a boil. It's still very syrupy. I'm hoping. Now it's a hope and wish and pray. It's that we're at that stage now where it's reduced down far enough that it'll actually gellify once it's cooled. So it's going to go from here into the jars. So I don't have a good place to... Oh, and I guess I want to show you this. Unfortunately, the overhead camera sort of died during this, but this is the foam that we pulled off the top. There's still a little bit in there, but it's not a big deal. But this stuff is amazing. It's still good to eat. It's just air bubbled stuff that you can't put into the jars as easily. So yeah, we're gonna have this with like I don't know, maybe some ice cream, maybe on some waffles. Lots of good options there. So I think we'll start with this. Slide these over, and this has come up to a boil now, so we're basically just going to go from here into the jars, into the canner, and then this will be running for 15 minutes. We'll take it, then we'll take everything out and we'll put them onto back onto this paper towel to let it cool, and it should cool overnight, and it'll be good. No matter what happens, if it doesn't gel, then we'll use it as syrup. There's no, let's put it this way, there's nothing bad about this in any way, shape, or form. If it doesn't gel into jam, then it becomes a syrup to go on pancakes, on different, anything basically. Anything you want, put it on. I don't want to just put this down, so I'm going to go put this in the sink, because I don't want that mess all over the counter. And I'm going to turn this off. And you can see it's just boiling. And I did throw, so one change that we did do is I added some additional sugar because of the amount. I don't think I grabbed the right amount of sugar when I first did the recipe. So this sugar is now at 10.5 cups of sugar, and the amount of Cerdo is 3 total, not just 2. So the notes will be on the screen or in the comments, and you can pick it up from there. So here we go, first jar. I'm going to give it about a ½ inch of headspace. We'll go on to the next jar. Didn't grab my clean paper towel. Some vinegar, because what do we always do? We always wipe the rims. Make sure that there's no jam or anything on them to help make sure that they seal. If you got it on the outside of the jar, wipe that off too. Not sure how that happened, but it did. And then we take our lid, put it on. I don't know whether you can see this or not. There's the first one. So when you tighten your lids, you only want them to be finger tight. So just enough so that it turns the jar, but not so much that you're reefing down on it. Otherwise, it can't let the gases out. So we're going to get this, we'll do this one first. Trying to stir up some of the stuff off the bottom and make sure you get nice. Oops, a little too much in that jar. Okay. So we're going to wipe the rim again. Thankfully I hadn't got any on the outside this time. There we go. We take our lids and rinse and repeat. We're going to do this a bunch of times, well, 6 to be exact. And the ring. Again. Finger tight, no more. So it should just turn around in your hands while you're tightening it. Slide this one over. If you're not making a mess, you're not having fun, right? A bit more. There we go. There we go. And on with the lid. That was way too much. You see, that's only an 1/8 of an inch to the top, so I'm gonna have to take this and get a little bit out. For that, I'll use my little, tiny little There we go. Actually, last couple. The rest of this, if it doesn't fit in these jars, will go into a big jar and it'll go into the fridge. After it cools down, of course. But I will say it does taste awesome. It's really good. I had some of the foam earlier just to, you know, you gotta taste it, right? And there we go. Last but not least, grab a clean towel. A little bit of vinegar. Just do your best to keep the rims clean. And these. Okay, that one's done. Well, that's that one done. On to the last one. And there's really not very much left in the bottom of this. So that's excellent. There we go. Put that over here. Wipe it off and on to the last lid. This is cooled down now, so not as hot as it needs to be, but I'll survive. Finger tight. Now we get the fun part. We get to put it in the canner. Always open away from you. We do have a tray in the bottom here to make sure that it's not on the bottom of the canner. I think we're going to have to add a little bit more water. Might be wrong. Yeah, we're going to have to add a little bit of water. So I'm trying to get the water up to at least the hottest temperature that'll come out of the tap, which is about 110 degrees or so. So it shouldn't impact the boil too much or impact the jars. Just top it off. That will be good enough. And we'll put the lid back on. It is still boiling. So we're going to leave this now for 15 minutes. Because of where we are altitude wise, I know we haven't talked about this in the past but with the other canning videos, but because where we are, we have to add additional time to the canning process. So we'll come back once we get to take everything out and show you guys what it all looks like. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes. We're just going to take everything out and let everything cool down. Well, it doesn't look like it's solidified too much, but oh well. We'll give it time. Looks like we may end up with syrup instead of, but it might change over while it's cooling down. So we'll let it cool down and let you know how it goes. But thanks for watching. Oh, one of them sealed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on the next one.